So we will now go into the roadmap presentation, very traditional deep dive into our solutions, what is coming up next year. Please remember to post your questions, or if you want to be contacted for a roadmap session to go even deeper about our next year's plans, please use the contact form online. But now over to Janne Pirttilahti, who will tell us about our roadmap for next year and what are the highlights for each of the solution areas from our cloud portfolio. Janne.
Thank you, Elena. I have generous 20 minutes to go through each and every feature we're going to release over the next 12 months or so. My name is indeed Janne Pirttilahti, and I am leading business security product organization and doing lots of the roadmap portfolio decisions and with my teams. So I should know, but without further ado, let's drill into the topic. I am focusing, as Elena said, on the cloud managed portfolio. So that's what empowering this offering. We talked already this earlier today. We have the partner-facing services, we have new business models, not superseding the existing ones, but augmenting those, so having new pay-per-use models coming up next year. And we're building products, and today I am focusing on that product part. So in the middle of the circle you can see collaboration protection, endpoint detection and response, and vulnerability assessment and management. So that's what I'm primarily talking about. We have a few products outside of this portfolio as well. I'm touching upon those very, very briefly, but there is a lot to talk about this cloud managed portfolio. And why exactly these? We want to address the full kill chain. Matthew talked about kill chain. Christine talked about threat landscape. Why do you need certain type of solutions? We have vulnerability assessment management. We have patch management solutions. We have features in our email protection addressing already the pre-attack phase. Then we have the traditional protective products trying to prevent attacks from happening, and then we have products addressing the compromised stage of the kill chain. So assuming that something bad happened, how do we detect, how do we swiftly respond? So all of this in 20 minutes, we need to make some choices and turn this into a little bit of an interactive presentation. So you guys have now a poll, 4 options. Which roadmap would you like me to deep dive? I will do all 4. I will cover them on surface, but out of these 4, I can try to go into a bit more details on one. And now you get to choose, and you have a couple of minutes to think, so I will cover some overall things before looking into the results and choosing which one to drill into. So roadmap sneak peek and highlights for the next year, also touching upon a little bit what we have very recently released. So the focus on Q3, Q4 2020 and Q1, Q2 2021, and a little bit further then also what is in our mind, what is driving our decisions, and what do we think the market needs, what are solving your customers' security problems, and what you should be selling. One thing that's overarching theme for whatever we're doing at the moment in the product side of things is the single pane of glass. This is clearly desired by the market. So when we asked in May in our end customer survey, and not our end customers, but market survey, so we surveyed thousands of companies around the globe, they really all voted for this. They want a single pane of glass, single management console or security center where they can view everything. There are small companies who don't necessarily see the need as much as others because they maybe have only one solution, and then they are really big companies who can afford big teams. You have separate teams for endpoint, separate for network, and so on and so forth maybe. But the mid-market companies especially, they value this single vendor, single console, single security center solution over others, and that's super important. That's why we have been working on this. We have actually been working and we've been releasing gradually features functionalities towards this. So there is already a single sign-on between our PSP, RDR, Radar, and O365 protection. So these cloud-managed products that I'm now talking today can be managed with single set of credentials. Now what we are bringing to the market, hopefully still Q4 to beta, but then Q1 releasing, is this single pane of glass. One view where you can have, if you have all of these solutions deployed, you can have consolidated view of your security posture. How are you doing? So kind of one reporting interface, but then we are improving that over time, and there is plenty of detailed items on the roadmap. I won't read through all of these boxes, and I'm not sure if it's big enough for you guys to read either. The point is that lots of what we're doing on the product side is around this topic. Things that touch upon all of these 4 products and make them work together really seamlessly and that are common. Common threat intelligence, common risk management, common APIs, and so on and so forth. And this is just, you're going to see more and more of this. This is the one big thing that we are rolling out now all the time. But still, the paramount thing is to deliver, of course, security features and protect the customers. Now let's take a quick look at the poll results. If I can have those also on my screen, so I can make some decisions. It's wonderful. Endpoint detection and response, a clear winner here. Thank you very much. So I'm going to do a bit more on the endpoint detection and response, but as promised, I will walk through all 4 briefly. Starting from collaboration protection. We released on May 28th cloud protection for Microsoft Office 365. I'm deliberately talking about collaboration protection now because we are taking this Office 365 protection from what it started with, email, to many other angles. So not just emails, but files in SharePoint, in OneDrive, covering also Teams, Teams channels, URLs, files in Teams, potentially also covering Google Workspace. So going from Microsoft ecosystem to other ecosystems. So that kind of things you can expect to see on this product roadmap, already Q1 releasing many of these. Couple of things I want to highlight from here over others. First one, I'm super proud of. This is so exciting feature. I don't have enough time to talk about it to do justice, but I'll just briefly mention this. There will be a feature covering compromised, breached accounts in domain. What this means is that it's threat intelligence about organizations' users. If my email account, janne.pirttilahti@fseki.com, is used somewhere, and it's used all the time, of course. I need to use that to register to various websites. And if one of those websites is hacked and the data is breached, we will know about it. And we will then tell that organization that you have these and these accounts that are part of a breach, which may mean various things. Of course, in the worst case, users are actually recycling passwords and they're using their domain passwords in some shady website which is hacked, and then those credentials can be used to try to access company resources like VPN or email or what have you. So that's the worst case. But even just having the email, the name, phone number, address, all this personal information somewhere makes this user more prone, and people around that user more prone for different type of phishing. So this having identity stolen somewhere is valuable information for you to know that this is happening, and then you can treat these users whose information has been stolen with different risk level. And you can force them to, for example, change passwords in AD and so on and so forth. This is something that hasn't previously been available to small companies or smaller companies very easily. The data is there somewhere. We have really different set of data from many others. We source this from places that can actually reach the deep end of dark web. So this is not just what is publicly available, but this is really, we know what has been breached. And this is typically something that very large companies are currently able to purchase and utilize, but we are now making this a commodity, available for everybody very affordably, and bundling it to our collaboration protection. So super cool feature. I'm so proud of this one, coming out already Q4. Another one that I want to briefly mention with this solution is inbox rules protection, which is kind of taking a leap towards detection and response. Here we are not preventing anything per se, but we are detecting if your inbox would have any suspicious rules that are automatically forwarding emails, deleting some emails, so on and so forth. Christine actually a little bit touched upon this. This is a commonly used tactic by the adversaries, and it's important to detect this. A little bit of the same as with the previous one. This hasn't really been available for smaller companies very easily. Now we are making this a standard in email security, and bringing these solutions to the entirely new level. No competition has this at the moment with their standard email security products at the price point what we can offer. So that much about collaboration protection today. Moving on to endpoint protection. The biggest product we have, the kind of traditional AV product that everybody has and everybody must have. It's paramount. If you haven't secured your endpoints, you haven't done anything. So it's still super important to have this product in your portfolio and sell that to each and every customer. Few things there that we have and what is coming up that I want to highlight. A lot of usability features, a lot of kind of making it just simply better, I would say. But few interesting also security features. We have tampering protection now in the product since some time back. We have a lot of stuff around AD and how do we treat that. I'm going to show more about that. Then we have new APIs, how you can feed data from this product to, for example, CM. If you would have, or if an end customer organization would have a CM, then how do you filter the events from our solution and feed them to third-party solutions? So these type of things there. Two things that I want to highlight from endpoint protection. First one, the unprotected devices. You now have a possibility to scan your Active Directory for any device that wouldn't have the endpoint agent deployed yet. And then you can take action based on that. This is valuable for the end company estates because they can see what is potentially left unprotected accidentally. And I think for partners, for you guys also, so that you can make sure that the customers are taking maximum advantage of the licenses and also that you can sell the maximum amount of licenses. You can really scan their ADs. So valuable feature already there, take advantage of that one. Another one, quite interesting thing actually, mobile protection. Not that we haven't had anything. We have had mobile security on Android and we have had freedom for business. These have been slightly separated offerings. Now, what is happening is that we are bundling these together, or well, not bundling, we're actually recreating the whole mobile security, but so that it encompasses features from both, from mobile security and from freedom for business, fully managed. So all features are visible in the portal. You can set them on or off and so on and so forth. So really taking mobile protection to the next level with MDM deployment support, third-party MDM support and so on and so forth. So this is also quite good feature, I think, and quite sellable. A lot of end customers still don't have proper mobile protection, and this actually does give them value. A lot of mobile protection out there is a little bit on the snake oil side of things. Our freedom for business truly helps them, as does the security features on the Android side of things. On iOS, we can't do all of the same things as in Android, obviously. With that, to endpoint detection and response, RDR, as the product name goes, and this is where you wanted me to do a deep dive. So let's see if we can touch upon the RDR a little bit more than on these others. The product is about creating visibility, detection, response on top of what we already have. It's easy to deploy, so if somebody has our cloud-managed endpoint, PSP, you just change the license key and then you have endpoint detection and response on top of the EPP. It's the same agent, same executable, everybody kind of has it, but then those who pay for this license get to use it. We released this a few years back. We've been improving it this year a great deal. And here I want to take also a bit time to recognize what has been already shipped this year. I think these are so important features. And if you haven't looked at the product recently, then you should, and you should acknowledge that things have changed. We've increased the detections by a lot. We've reduced the false positives, we created new detections, we've created different new response actions. So if something happens when we create a broad context detection, then what? We have EPP scan, we have forensics collection, I'm going to talk a bit more about that. We have now Linux support, so we support Windows, Mac, Linux, all of the platforms. We have similarity analysis, so it's easier to group and analyze different broad context detections. Really, really valuable features. The visualizations and the whole UI is completely on a different level than it was still a year ago, let's say. So really, the product is in a good shape already, but more interesting stuff is coming. So what is coming still this year? Well, one thing is that we are bundling all these products together. This portal integration you see on every single roadmap, I think, and that is about the single pane of glass. How do we make sure that PSP, RDR, Radar, and O365, that they all work tightly integrated together? Then this visualization improvements track continues. We're going to build still better tools for administrators and more usable tools for administrators to analyze the broad context detections. We will have new detections, more context around detections. Then we will have reporting with manual detection details, so you can actually do more in the portal also when there isn't automatic BCD. Better optimization for the flow, and then just to make sure that the RDR and PSP work better together, a couple of things there. But the big things I think are coming Q1, and this I know many of you have been waiting for. The first one is threat investigation capabilities, also known as raw data view. So what this means is that once you have the broad context detection, now you can see what you can see from the portal, but we will add a lot more data. Basically, you will have access to everything more or less that F-Secure is storing about that very event, and that's a lot of data. So if you actually want to do a thorough investigation, kind of like Matthew talked about, if you want to go to that level of things, you will have now the capabilities and basically the same interface that F-Secure threat hunters are using with our managed detection and response. So that same level of information, same tool set with search capabilities. So you can actually search these events and go into the raw data, do threat hunting. Super cool thing. This has been asked for by so many for so long. I'm really happy that it's now coming out to you guys Q1. Another one is long asked, and by many a lot asked is better response capabilities. We have quite a bit of response capabilities. There is host isolation, forensics collection, EPP scan, a few others. But now we are extending and making it possible to actually influence the host at question. So if you get a detection that this host is now suspected to be infected, then you can do stuff on the host through the RDR interface. You can delete registry keys, you can delete files, and this sort of thing. So a lot of stuff coming there on Q1 and Q2. These are super valuable, and I think this also improves the product and takes it to the level where you can sell a lot more services. Not that you wouldn't be able to sell services around RDR already, but still a lot more. We are also going to leverage memory scanning capabilities. Memory scan capability is in the product already. So on the slide, if you can see, one of the light blue boxes for Q1 says detection from memory scans. It means that we are now starting to add more and more detections to RDR based on the memory scanning. But memory scan capability is there, and first use cases of that are actually already there. Big theme then going forward with RDR is that we are taking it from endpoint detection and response to just detection and response. Adding cloud sources, adding our collaboration protection potentially as one data feed, maybe some other data feeds, adding vulnerability management data so that you can leverage radar scan data with detection and response, and so on and so forth. So these are super valuable features as well, and it makes the product to be not just endpoint detection and response, but just detection and response. Industry acronym currently used by analysts is XDR, and that's the path we are also going down. Forensics package I already mentioned, so this is now a new response action that you can launch. Based on BCD, you can request a forensics package, so we collect a lot more information about that very host, package it into the zip file, make it available in the portal, and then you can do incident investigation, incident analysis for that host there based on that information. So that much about RDR, and then quickly Radar, still our vulnerability management assessment tool, fully PCI ASV certified, chosen by Gartner users as a most recommended product in this category this year. Really good tool. We are taking it to completely next level now with Windows agent-based scanning. That's perhaps the biggest thing. Another big thing with Radar is that we are making it fully interoperable with rest of the portfolio. The same admin credentials already work. So now with Radar user account, you can also log to PSP and RDR if you have all of these products. But now what will happen also Q1 is that it will be part of this single pane of glass. But the Windows agent-based scanning is the big thing here. So this doesn't replace anything. The network scan is still there, it's still paramount, it's a good feature. But this helps with certain type of environments where you have a lot of PCs that come and go, or sometimes offline, sometimes online, have dynamic IPs. Now because you can scan from the Windows agent, it gives you a better picture of the estate. And also you don't need to supply any credentials to the portal because the agent is there. And again, it's using the same agent as PSP and RDR. So we have single agent architecture on Windows, and later we are bringing this also to Linux. So pretty cool stuff there also on the Radar roadmap. So that covers the full circle. I have a couple of more things still before I let Elena and Tero to continue. But then going outside of this cloud managed portfolio, touching on cloud protection for Salesforce, there are other things like Business Suite, Atlant, so on and so forth. We don't have time to cover everything today. Cloud protection for Salesforce, this is content security on top of Salesforce platform. They do great job with platform security. But if you have customers who are using Salesforce CRM system or for anything other, what is not secured by Salesforce is content in there. So any files, URLs, anything like that, they don't say anything about it, whether it's good, bad, different, they just don't care. What we do is that we care. So we scan those files, URLs in the Salesforce platform, and we have a roadmap for this product, improving it, making it also taking steps towards the advanced threat protection and detection and response. But I don't have time to go into these details today. Just mentioning that and reminding you that this product is there. If you have end users who are using Salesforce, it is actually a super valuable product, and we have big customers who are very happy with this. As a summary, I would like to still say a few words. One thing that is always true with our portfolio is that we want to offer unparalleled security. And we back this claim by these tests. It's not about the tests, it is about securing the end customers. But we know that we are the best or amongst the best whenever products are tested. Be it AV test, be it Mitre, be it Gartner customers recommending products to one another, we are always amongst the top players and we want to be there. So it is still about unparalleled, absolute security and securing the whole kill chain or addressing the whole kill chain and solving end customer security problems. But really the big theme is that we want to bring all this together from vulnerability management to patch management, endpoint protection, detection and response, and then also covering email, collaboration, all of that. With that, I would like to thank you guys, and maybe we have time for some questions.
Yes.